can't do it.
Not yet.
Are you finished? That will be all for today.
Calm, Kikimara. I really believe that strength has a smaller and at a disadvantage. Intense. Copy. Shit.
Got movement at 10 o'clock. Definitely a threat.
In the shadowy, high-stakes world of the Ruscaroma, a young ballerina named Rooney, trained as an elite assassin, embarks on a brutal quest for vengeance. When her entire family is murdered, she uncovers a vast conspiracy that forces her to confront the very organization that shaped her. Navigating a treacherous underworld filled with skilled killers and impossible odds, Rooney must leverage every ounce of her deadly training to survive and exact her bloody justice, all while walking a razor's edge between her art and her vengeance.
You're safe now. It's fine.
I think they were hoping that somebody maybe just made them antsy.
Why did it?
Ever.
Would you like to make a purchase? Oh. Pardon me? Large or small game hunt? V7 Harbinger TTI. Loves to make it personal. You've got a sight on each vent rib. Oversized charge. Now,
Did you think I would not find?
It's a meta.
But I guess it never leaves your blood, does it?
Kill them both.
heard the Chancellor. Blow it.
Right here. Right? Is it done?
The Baba Yaga.
Please let her go. She's on the...
Just like your sister, it is your fate.
Hey guys, today we're diving deep into the intricate, brutal, and surprisingly graceful world of Ballerina, the latest entry into a universe we've all come to love for its commitment to exquisite violence and convoluted rules. This film takes us behind the curtains, literally, of the John Wick saga, putting a spotlight on a character whose story has been simmering in the background. We're going to unravel every bone-snapping, car-flipping, highly choreographed moment, exploring the intricate dance of death that is Rooney's journey. This is a passion project for me, and a like or a subscribe is the best way to show your support. So if you're on board, join the crew. If not, thanks for watching anyway. Our story opens not with a bang, but with a somber, almost quiet scene, a stark contrast to the storm that's about to break. We see a young woman, Rooney, her face etched with a silent, profound grief, standing before a newly dug grave. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and the unspoken sorrow of fresh loss. The scene is devoid of dialogue, but the weight of her posture, the slight tremble in her hands speaks volumes. We then flash back, not to her childhood, but to her recent past, a life that, on the surface, seemed to balance precariously between the delicate art of ballet and the brutal discipline of an assassin. We witness glimpses of her on stage, a vision of fluid grace, every movement precise, every leap defying gravity. But then the cut is sharp, jarring, to a dimly lit training hall, the metallic tang of sweat and old leather filling the air. Here, her movements are equally precise, but designed for a different purpose entirely: to break, to incapacitate, to kill. The crack of a target dummy's wooden arm against her elbow echoes in the silent room, a symphony of violence in the making. This duality is central to Rooney's character, a woman who finds beauty in devastating efficiency. Her training, we learn, was under the stern, unyielding tutelage of the director, a figure of formidable authority within the Roscaroma crime syndicate, a kind of dark arts finishing school for highly specialized killers. The director, a woman whose gaze could freeze lava, instills in her pupils not just the art of combat, but the discipline, the theatricality, and the unyielding code that governs their shadowed existence. Rooney, even then, stands out. She possesses a raw talent, yes, but also a simmering intensity, a fire that the director recognizes and carefully hones. We see scenes of her undergoing brutal conditioning, the crunch of her knuckles as she strikes a heavy bag, the breathless exhaustion after a prolonged sparring session, the swift, silent removal of a mock target with a perfectly thrown knife. Each lesson is delivered with a sharp word, a pointed gesture, and the expectation of absolute perfection. The inciting incident, the catalyst for Rooney's spiral into outright vengeance, is sudden and merciless. Her family, or what she considered her family within the Roscaroma's complex structure, a surrogate father figure, a protective older brother, is systematically executed. The scene is a blur of shock and chaos. We're plunged into it, experiencing it through Rooney's disoriented perspective. The sharp, muffled pops of suppressed gunfire rip through the quiet of their home, followed by the shattering of glass as a window explodes inward. There's the frantic scrambling, the desperate shouts, and then the sickening thud of bodies falling. Rooney, arriving moments too late, is greeted by the chilling tableau of her loved ones slain, their blood staining the familiar Persian rugs. The air tastes like smoke and metallic death. The silence that follows the ambush is deafening, heavier than any explosion. It's not just grief that floods her, but a cold, hard rage, a resolute that crystallizes in that very moment. She quickly discovers that this wasn't just a random act of violence. It was orchestrated, a professional hit, executed with the terrifying efficiency characteristic of their own world. The clues are scarce, deliberately so, but Rooney, with her unique training, sees what others miss. The precise angle of a bullet casing, the faint scent of a specific type of cleaning agent, the subtle disruption of a security sensor that only an insider would know how to exploit. Her initial investigation is a solitary, clandestine affair, a shadow tracking other shadows. She moves through the city's underbelly, a ghost haunting forgotten alleys and backrooms, seeking information. The first encounter we witness in her investigation is with a low-level informant, a man with twitchy eyes and a penchant for expensive watches, holed up in a grimy, neon-lit noodle bar. Rooney doesn't ask politely. She slams his hand onto the counter, the clatter of ceramic dishes adding a jarring punctuation to her silent threat. He squeals, a pathetic, high-pitched sound, and spills what little he knows, pointing her towards a shadowy figure, a middleman known only as the architect. The architect, a man who fancies himself a connoisseur of fine art and even finer contracts, operates from a clandestine gallery, displaying genuinely unsettling pieces of modern sculpture. Rooney's entrance is anything but subtle. She phases through the security with the grace of a phantom, disabling alarms with practiced ease. The clink of her boots on the polished concrete floor is the only sound in the vast empty space. She corners the architect in his private office, surrounded by abstract, tortured figures that almost mirror his own morally bankrupt soul. He initially tries to charm her, a smooth, oily performance, until Rooney's cold, unwavering stare combined with the glint of a small, wickedly sharp blade appearing from her sleeve convinces him to drop the pretense. He whimpers, a truly undignified sound for a man who orchestrates death, revealing that the hit was ordered by a much higher authority, a person he only refers to as Balthazar. This name, Balthazar, rings a distant, unsettling bell in Rooney's memory, a ghost from her training days, a rival faction within the global underworld, a name associated with ruthlessness and expansion. The architect's final, desperate plea for his life is cut short, a swift, brutal movement, a silenced pistol shot that barely disturbs the gallery's eerie stillness. The body slumps, the metallic tang of fresh blood now mingling with the scent of expensive paint and dust. Rooney moves with chilling efficiency, wiping down surfaces, collecting casings, leaving no trace. It's a clean operation, textbook perfect, a testament to her meticulous training. But as she leaves the gallery, stepping back into the chill night air, there's a flicker of something in her eyes, a fleeting moment of introspection. The act of killing, even for justice, is not without its cost. Her hunt for Balthazar takes her through a series of increasingly elaborate and dangerous encounters. We see her infiltrate a lavish casino, a den of high rollers and higher stakes, where Balthazar is rumored to be making a public appearance. The casino floor is a dizzying array of flashing lights, the cacophony of slot machines, the murmur of excited whispers, and the clatter of chips. Rooney, disguised in a stunning yet unassuming gown, moves through the opulent chaos like a predator in a flock of doves. Her eyes scan the crowd, her ears tuned to specific frequencies, her movements a masterclass in blending in while standing out. She spots Balthazar at a high-stakes poker table, a man with a chillingly calm demeanor surrounded by an impenetrable wall of bodyguards. The plan, initially, is reconnaissance, but an opportunity arises. One of Balthazar's bodyguards, a hulking brute with a permanent scowl, makes an error, leaving a momentary gap in their formation as he goes to fetch a drink. She seizes it. Her movements are fluid, almost imperceptible. She bumps into him, a soft, accidental touch, and in that fleeting contact, a tiny, impossibly thin listening device is placed on his jacket, barely larger than a speck of dust. She melts back into the crowd, a ghost in plain sight. The bodyguard, none the wiser, returns to his post, and Rooney, from a safe distance, begins to gather intel, listening to encrypted communications, piecing together Balthazar's movements, his network, his next steps. It's a cat-and-mouse game played with exquisite precision.
The information leads her to a heavily fortified industrial complex on the city's outskirts, a vast, grimy expanse of corrugated metal, barbed wire, and the distant hum of machinery. This is Balthazar's primary operational hub, a place where illegal goods are trafficked and darker deals are made. The approach itself is a masterclass in urban infiltration. Rooney scales walls with preternatural ease, her specialized gear allowing her to cling to sheer surfaces, moving silently over razor wire, dodging infrared sensors with movements that are more dance than stealth. The wind whips around her, carrying the metallic tang of the industrial processes. She bypasses multiple layers of security, a silent phantom in the night, until she's deep inside the complex, navigating a labyrinth of dim corridors and storage containers. This is where the real action begins. She encounters the first wave of Balthazar's men, hardened enforcers who are not only well-armed, but also well-trained. The first confrontation happens in a narrow hallway, the sudden snap of her wrist disarming a guard before he can even register her presence. The muffled thud of his body hitting the concrete floor is the only sound. She uses his weapon, a silenced pistol, to dispatch two more guards emerging from a side room, the soft poof of the suppressor punctuating the silence. The choreography of these early fights is breathtaking. Rooney moves like water, flowing from one opponent to the next, using their momentum against them, turning their aggression into their downfall. There's a particular sequence where she disarms a man with a wrench, spins, and uses the wrench to block a baseball bat swing from another, then delivers a devastating knee to the first man's jaw, sending him sprawling with a wet crunch. It's brutal, effective, and strangely artistic. As she delves deeper, the resistance stiffens. Alarms are eventually triggered, a piercing wail that echoes through the vast complex, signaling that her cover is blown. Lights flash, red and urgent. The atmosphere immediately shifts from stealth to full-blown combat. Doors slam open and more guards pour out, armed with automatic weapons, their shouts filling the air. Rooney, undaunted, seamlessly transitions from quiet assassination to open warfare. She uses the environment to her advantage, ducking behind stacks of crates, vaulting over conveyor belts, sliding under heavy machinery, always moving, always advancing. The staccato rhythm of gunfire erupts, bullets tearing through metal, sparks flying. The crack of a punch, the grunt of effort, the metallic clang of a dropped weapon become the new soundtrack. One particularly memorable skirmish unfolds in a vast warehouse filled with shipping containers. Rooney finds herself outnumbered, facing at least 10 highly skilled gunmen. She doesn't panic. Instead, she disappears among the towering metal boxes, using them as cover and vantage points. The scene becomes a deadly game of hide and seek. She leaps from container to container, a shadow against the dim industrial lights, picking off guards one by one. There's a moment where she uses a chain hanging from an overhead crane, swinging across a wide gap to drop onto an unsuspecting guard. Her landing silent and precise, his neck snapping with a sickening pop. Another guard, firing wildly, accidentally clips a fuel line, and a small explosion erupts, sending a wave of heat and smoke through the area. Rooney uses the distraction, the confusion, the momentary disorienting flash to take down 2 more, their bodies hitting the floor with heavy thuds. It's a chaotic symphony of destruction. She eventually reaches Balthazar's inner sanctum, a fortified office overlooking the entire complex. But Balthazar, a man who clearly has contingency plans for his contingency plans, isn't there. Instead, she finds a trap. A lone laptop is open on his desk, displaying a chilling message. "You're predictable, little bird." Before she can react, the floor beneath her gives way, a hidden trapdoor dropping her into a darkened chamber below. The sudden drop, the disorienting fall, lands her hard on a concrete floor, the air knocked from her lungs. This is not just a trap, it's an arena. The chamber is a brutalist nightmare, all bare concrete and flickering lights, designed for one purpose: to kill. She's not alone. Waiting for her are Balthazar's elite enforcers, a small, terrifying group known as the Harbingers. These aren't your average thugs. They are masters of various martial arts, each specializing in a different form of close-quarters combat. The first Harbinger, a towering figure wielding a heavy bladed weapon, charges with a guttural roar. Rooney, still recovering from the fall, dodges his initial swing, the blade whistling past her ear, the force of it kicking up dust. The fight is a blur of speed and power. Rooney, with her balletic grace, weaves in and out, avoiding his brute strength, looking for openings. She parries a powerful overhead strike with a rapid block, the impact vibrating up her arm, before sliding under his guard and delivering a series of rapid-fire strikes to his midsection, ending with a devastating elbow to the solar plexus. He collapses, winded, groaning. The second Harbinger, nimble and lightning fast, uses 2 short, razor-sharp knives. This fight is more like a dance, a deadly pas de deux, the metallic shriek of blades clashing filling the chamber. Rooney, initially unarmed, uses her environment, grabbing a loose metal pipe, its clang against the knives echoing through the chamber. She moves with an almost supernatural agility, deflecting, parrying, her steps precise, economical. She eventually disarms him with a clever trick, using a feint to make him overextend, then kicking one knife from his hand, catching it in midair with her other. Now armed with one of his own blades, the fight shifts. She uses the blade not just to attack, but to control, to dictate the pace, eventually overpowering him with a flurry of precise, debilitating strikes. The metallic click of a blade embedding itself into a joint, followed by a grunt of pain, becomes a recurring sound. But Balthazar, ever the strategist, isn't just playing games. He's also trying to flush out a bigger fish, someone Rooney might turn to for help. And who better than a certain legendary hitman? This leads Rooney to a clandestine meeting with Winston, the enigmatic proprietor of the Continental Hotel. The meeting place is a dimly lit, impeccably furnished suite, the air thick with the scent of old money and unspoken secrets. Winston, ever urbane and unruffled, sips his whiskey, his eyes twinkling with a mix of amusement and gravitas. He doesn't offer help directly, of course. That would be uncivilized. Instead, he offers information, carefully curated snippets of intelligence, hints veiled in riddles. He speaks of old debts and unseen forces, confirming Rooney's suspicions that Balthazar is part of something much larger, a new, ambitious player challenging the established order of the high table itself. The gentle clink of ice in Winston's glass is the only sound as he subtly guides Rooney, nudging her.
This brings her face to face with John Wick himself, albeit briefly. Their encounter is not one of friendship, but of mutual respect, born from a shared understanding of their brutal world. John, appearing as if from the shadows, his presence a quiet force of nature, is initially a barrier, testing Rooney. Their exchange is tense, terse, words exchanged like blows. He observes her, assessing her strength, her resolve, her potential. There's a moment, a subtle nod, a shared glance that communicates volumes without a single word. He doesn't join her fight, but he doesn't hinder it either. Instead, he provides a crucial piece of equipment, a specialized weapon, an untraceable communication device, a quiet offering of support from one legend to another. The leather creak of his jacket, the soft click of the weapon being handed over, are the only sounds of their exchange. This is not about saving her, it's about acknowledging a kindred spirit. Armed with Winston's intel and Wick's quiet endorsement, Rooney sets her sights on the true mastermind behind Balthazar, a shadowy figure known as the Puppeteer, who operates from a seemingly impenetrable fortress disguised as a legitimate international art auction house. The building itself is a masterpiece of modern architecture, all glass and steel, gleaming under the city lights, a stark contrast to the gritty underworld Rooney usually inhabits. This is the heart of the spider's web. Infiltrating the auction house during a high-profile event is Rooney's most audacious move yet. The place is swarming with the global elite, dressed in designer clothes, sipping champagne, their chatter a soft hum. Rooney, again in disguise, her movements flawless, slips through the layers of security with the ease of a skilled thief. The soft rustle of her silk dress, the faint click of her heels on the marble floor are the only sounds as she navigates the crowded rooms. But this time, she's not alone. Balthazar and his remaining forces are also present, their faces cold and calculating, seemingly part of the elite, but their eyes constantly scanning, ever watchful. The tension slowly builds, a suffocating pressure. Rooney discovers a hidden network of surveillance cameras, realizing that the puppeteer is observing everyone, including her. Her every move is being tracked. This ups the stakes considerably. She has to be perfect. The first confrontation erupts in a less crowded, dimly lit side gallery showcasing ancient weaponry. A group of Balthazar's men, having identified her, ambushes her. The sudden burst of violence is shocking against the backdrop of quiet contemplation. A glass display case shatters with a sharp crack, scattering priceless artifacts. Rooney uses the antique weapons themselves, turning a ceremonial dagger into a lethal extension of her will, its metallic shriek as it slices through the air, sending chills. She disarms one opponent, then uses his own weapon to block another, the heavy thud of a shield impacting against a chest. It's a brutal ballet of close-quarters combat. The fight spills out into the main exhibition hall, now a scene of utter panic. Guests scream, running for cover, overturning expensive sculptures and tables. The cacophony is deafening, the blare of alarms, the sharp cracks of suppressed gunfire, the screams of the innocent. Rooney is a whirlwind of controlled chaos, her movements a blur of kicks, punches, and takedowns. She uses everything around her. A heavy bronze bust becomes a projectile, sending a guard sprawling with a sickening thump. A velvet rope becomes a garrote, silencing another with a desperate gasp. There's a particular moment where she slides across a polished floor on her knees, firing 2 pistols simultaneously, taking down multiple targets with improbable accuracy. The bullets sing through the air, carving paths of destruction. She confronts Balthazar in a dramatic showdown amidst the chaos. He is a formidable opponent, not just cunning, but also a skilled fighter himself, armed with a custom-made folding karambit knife. Their duel is a vicious, no-holds-barred exchange of blows. The metallic shriek of his blade against her own, a quickly acquired short sword, fills the air. He moves with a predatory grace, aiming for vital points, while Rooney matches his intensity, her ballet training giving her an edge in agility and unpredictable movement. She dodges a sweeping attack, feeling the wind of the blade on her cheek, then counters with a lightning-fast thrust. Their fight is a constant push and pull, a test of will and skill.
Rooney then faces the puppeteer, no longer behind glass. He stands before her, defeated, his face a mask of impotent rage. He expected her to kill him, to take her revenge in the most direct way. But Rooney, in a moment of profound growth, makes a different choice. She doesn't kill him. Instead, she reveals him, exposing his intricate web of illegal activities, his ruthless machinations to the authorities and, more importantly, to the high table itself. The click of the handcuffs as they are fastened around his wrists is a quieter yet more resounding victory than any bullet. She ensures he will suffer, not a swift death, but a slow, agonizing downfall within the very system he sought to manipulate. It's a poetic justice that resonates far more deeply than simple vengeance. The aftermath is a period of quiet reflection and rebuilding. Rooney returns to the Roscaroma, not as an outcast, but as a warrior who has earned her place, not just through skill, but through a profound understanding of the code. The director, witnessing Rooney's growth, her choice to prioritize more than just personal vengeance, shows a flicker of pride, a subtle nod of approval. The training halls, once scenes of brutal conditioning, now feel different. There's a sense of purpose, a quiet understanding of the greater responsibilities that come with their lethal skills. The metallic taste of blood is replaced by the faint scent of oil on gunmetal as she meticulously cleans her weapons, each movement deliberate, almost meditative. Rooney's journey throughout Ballerina is one of transformation. She starts as a grieving individual, driven by a primal need for revenge, but evolves into a strategic operator, a protector, and a force for a more nuanced form of justice within the shadowed confines of her world. Her path is still fraught with danger, her future uncertain, but she has found a sense of direction, a purpose beyond simply settling scores. The world she inhabits is still dark, still brutal, but Rooney, the ballerina, has truly found her rhythm, not just in the dance of death, but in the intricate choreography of survival and retribution. The echoes of her training, the crack of a punch, the whisper of a blade, the deafening silence after an explosion, all now carry a new meaning for her, part of a larger, more complex song. This journey, filled with relentless action and intense emotional stakes, reminds us that even in the darkest corners, the human spirit can find its own unique dance. It's about finding strength in vulnerability, purpose in pain, and the unwavering courage to stand against overwhelming odds. Rooney's story is a testament to the idea that true power isn't just about the strength of your strike, but the resilience of your spirit and the depth of your convictions. She navigates a world designed to break her, only to emerge not unscathed, but undeniably stronger. A true warrior who understands the delicate balance between destruction and creation. Ballerina delivers on its promise of high-octane action and expands the Wickverse in a compelling way. Ana de Armas brings a captivating blend of grace and ferocity to Rooney, making her a formidable new presence. The fight choreography is exceptional, a truly artistic display of violence that feels both brutal and beautiful. It's a visually stunning and relentlessly paced edition that fans of the franchise will undoubtedly savor.